Get started. Please finish your warm-up frames. We'll be changing the scoring in just a moment. Welcome back to Harvard Lanes in Harvard, Massachusetts for another exciting Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour match. Hi everybody, my name is Steve Kelly. I am really cold, and I hope you are much warmer than I am right now. We are in Harvard, Massachusetts for a Class E North match between Bryan Hebert and Nathan McLaughlin. Bryan Hebert comes to us with a season record of 36-62, and Nathan McLaughlin comes to us with a season record of 92-48. And it should be an exciting match. Be another great one at Harvard Lanes in Harvard, Massachusetts. And we are good to go here. Our way bowler Bryan Hebert will start things off. The hands have been shook. Let's play some Candlepin bowling here in these pre-blizzard conditions in Harvard, Massachusetts. It's Bryan Hebert. We'll get things going here. And Bryan Hebert will start things off with a working box, or working first ball. A 4-drop to get things going. And Hebert will leave 3 pins on the second ball on the spare attempt. To complete the first box, Bryan Hebert will take an 8. 8 after 1 for Mr. Hebert. So yes, this is the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour brought to you by 3-Ball Spare Conglomerate. This match was played on Saturday, January 24th, 2026. The match format, 5 strings with 14 points on offer. It's 2 points per string and 4 for total pinfall. If there is a tie, the points are evenly split. If you've never seen Candlepin bowling, I hope you enjoy the match today. This is a unique take on bowling from the heart of New England and Eastern Canada. There's a 9-drop for Bryan Hebert, who left the 5 pin. He's up for a single pin spare opportunity. And Hebert, he'll just miss it by just an inch, a couple centimeters. I don't know what it is, but he'll miss it by just a little bit. And Bryan Hebert will make that a 9 box. That's 17 after 2 for Bryan Hebert. So when I said I was really cold and I'm wearing the hat and scarf, this is actually for multiple reasons. I'm not actually that cold. I'm actually partially using this as a bit of a noise suppressant for the very loud music in here, and I don't know if this will or will not be successful, so we'll find out. So far the levels seem to be indicating that this is mildly successful, so we'll do what we can do. A lot of other bowlers here, a lot of open bowling, so they're going to keep the music pumping, so who am I to shut down the fun? Bryan Hebert drops 2. Second ball on the spare attempt, wow, in the pocket. He leaves the 5, the 7, the 8, and the 9. To round it off, Bryan Hebert will make it a 7. It's 24 after 3 for Bryan Hebert. Bryan Hebert, this is his 3rd season in the ACST. He's in Class E North, Division 3, bowls out of Boutwells in Concord, New Hampshire. Season record 36-62 with 7 matches played. Away record 14-42. Home record 22-20. Season average 89.3. Away average 90.1. Home average 88.27. And there's Bryan Hebert with a 4-drop and a 6-pack left. On the 6-pack, Bryan Hebert fires. He's just a little bit off the object pin. He leaves the object pin on lane 1. Hebert for the 10 box. He'll leave it for the 9. That's 33 after 4 for Bryan Hebert. In this 5-game series, it is all paper and pencil scoring at Harvard Lanes. No computerized scoring to speak of. Every now and then I'm going to be pausing to verify the scores. In fact, I will do that for the first time here in just another box, just to make sure everything is hunky-dory. Bryan Hebert off to the right of the head pin. He'll drop 4 once again. His third 4 drop in 5 boxes. 4-9-2-2-4. His first ball tallies. And he'll take 2 on the second ball, leaving the 1, the 2, the 6, and the 10. And Bryan Hebert will make that an 8, and I believe that will be a 41.5. I will double check that in just a minute. And I see 41 down on the paper copy. We are good. It is 41 after 5 for Bryan Hebert. who went 1 for 5 on the head pin with no splits. 4.6 first ball average. And we are going to say hello to Mr. Nathan McLaughlin. Welcome back to the program, Nathan. Nathan comes to us with a season record of 92-48 with 10 matches played. When he's on the road, he's 26-16. When he's home at Harvard, he's 66-32. Here's Nathan McLaughlin on the head pin. He'll drop 8, leaving the 5 and the 10. He'll split 8. The 5 and the 10 is what he's firing at. Nate McLaughlin, he clocks in with a spare. A nice one. It was a pretty one. Methodical, a nice skill shot on the target. 5 pin on the left side with the wood. Made it look effortless. Nate McLaughlin, the lefty, as he shoots and he scores. That's 10 after 1 for Nate. Nate McLaughlin, season average 95.9, away average 94.8, home average 96.4, high single 135, high series 537 as he fills that spare with 5. McLaughlin on the spare shot. Connects with the 4, leaves the 1, the 2, the 7, and the 8. McLaughlin, nice 10 box. That's 25 after 2 for Nate. Nate McLaughlin, he has 11 strikes, 56 spares, and 79 tens for the season so far with a 36% perfect box percentage. 4,796 seasonal pinfall. Currently first place in his division and first place in the wildcard seed. You are looking at the king of Classy North, Nathan McLaughlin. As he fires again. Off to the right of the head pin, it's another 5 drop. 4 horsemen and a sleeper. Same leave as last box. And the same leave as that 5 fill. At Harvard Lanes in Harvard, Massachusetts on lane 1. McLaughlin, I thought he was going to connect with that head pin. He missed off to the right. And for the follow-up, he'll take an 8 for the third frame for 33 after 3 for Mr. McLaughlin. The ACST format is 5 strings with 14 points on offer, 2 points per string and 4 for total pinfall. There are classes A to E in the ACST this year, 18 matches in the regular season. The top 8 in each class and region make the playoffs, and there's also wild cards. If you're familiar with the NFL playoff bracket and system, you're going to be right at home with the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. It is very, very similar. As Nathan McLaughlin pokes 2, it's a half Worcester left side. In Nathan McLaughlin's past 5 matches, he's taken 40 points, averaging 8 per match. And, why not take a complete trip to Worcester while we're in Harvard, Massachusetts? It's not that far of a drive. He pokes out the right side half Worcester for a full, complete, all expenses paid trip to Worcester, Massachusetts, here in Harvard. And Nate, and that will be a full trip to Worcester that he will not be coming back from. That's a 4 box for Nate McLaughlin. That will be 37 after 4. Harvard, Massachusetts. Harvard Lanes, recently renovated. Beautiful looking house. White and navy blue color scheme. Really great looking. And that's a 3 drop for Nate. Haven't covered Nate McLaughlin in quite some time. Actually, way back in the early season, back when it was really hot out, was the last time I covered him here at Harvard Lanes. And he threw an incredible 5 strings back then. I do remember he really started his ACST career with a bang. And he was kind of coming back to bowling after some time off. I know this is his first year at the ACST. McLaughlin, he'll make it a 7 box, and I believe that's going to be a 44.5 for Mr. McLaughlin with 1 mark. 44 for McLaughlin and 41 for Hebert. It's a difference of 3 so far. And it is 44-41. That is confirmed. Coming up next, it'll be Bryan Hebert returning to the approaches, and he'll be on lane 2 for the first time here at Harvard Lanes in Harvard, Massachusetts. Two separate ball returns for 2 lanes, so they have to switch the balls. And the balls have been switched, sort of like the airing of the grievances. Seinfeld, Festivus. And here's Bryan Hebert with a right side Caleri, a 5 drop. 1, 2, 4, 7, 9 for Bryan. Bryan fires on the Caleris on the head pin on the outside, and he gets a couple pins on each edge. He leaves the 4 and the 9. And Hebert for the 8, 9, or 10. He'll make it a nice out of a 9. So that will be 50 after 6 for Bryan Hebert, who has a high single of 108 and a high series of 467. He has 6 strikes, 30 spares, 43 tens for the season. He has a perfect box percentage of 26%. Seasonal pinfall 31.26 for the season so far. He's 3rd place in his division and 9th in the wild card seed. Here comes Bryan Hebert. On the head pin on the 1-2 pocket, he drops 6. It's the 3, 7, 9, and 10. And Hebert's off the object pin. The 3 pin stands tall. The 10 pin was knocked out. He's got the 3, the 7, and the 9 to deal with. For the follow-up, oh, a nice 10 box for Bryan Hebert. That's a 10 box in the 7th. That puts him at 60 in 7. Bryan Hebert in his past 5 matches, he's taken 28 points, averaging 5.6 points per match. 24-19 points in his past 5 pins in his past 5 matches. 6 strikes, 28 spares, 38 tens in his past 5 matches. And Bryan Hebert will drop 6. It's the 3 diamond. Hebert tries to break the diamond. He shaves 2 off. Leaves the 5 and the 3. And Hebert with that 8 box, it'll be 68 after 8. With 2 boxes to go before we finish the first string for Bryan Hebert. Bryan Hebert on average is taking 12.3 head pins out of 50 per match, 5.7 splits per match. Splits are contingent on head pin hits. Hebert's on the 1-3 pocket. He drops 7. It's the 2, the 4, and the 5, the 2 triangle. And Hebert will take the 5 and leave the 2 and the 4. I want to say the ball got a little bit stuffed on the way down. He might have released it before the foul line based on the noise that I heard. And he'll make it an 8 box in the 9th. That's 76 in 9 for Bryan Hebert. Harvard lanes can tend to be a little bit, have a bit of a difficulty curve. Just need to get used to it. I know I understand because I had similar troubles in the this past summer's Atlantic Amateur Candlepin Bowlers Tour here. I know I had similar struggles. There's Bryan. First ball goes off way past the 7 pin. And for the follow-up on the 1-3 pocket, oh, nice, beautiful recovery. Almost a gentleman's strike. Almost a second ball strike. He leaves the 5 pin. He'll be shooting for a 10 box here. 76 after 9. 4 for 10 on the head pin. And he'll 10 that out. Bryan Hebert will take an 86 in the first game. I will verify that score to make sure it is official in just a moment. And 86 is indeed confirmed as I look over. Bryan Hebert 4 for 10 in the head pin with 1 split in the first game. 40% quarterback rating. Coming up next, it'll be Nathan McLaughlin for the first time on lane 2 this evening. And here's Nathan McLaughlin. He'll drop 6. A cluster on the left, 1, 2, and 4. It'll be a drop of 7, actually, after a sleeper fell. And there is a nice spare for Nathan McLaughlin. Cleans that up rather handily. 54 and a bonus after 6. Let's have a look at that again, shall we? 1, 2, and 4. And it was a great one. Right on the pocket. No problem for Nathan McLaughlin. Nathan McLaughlin is working on a spare, and he has a bouncy ball in the 1-3 pocket. He drops 8, leaves the 4 and the 8. A big 18 in the 6th for 62. McLaughlin on the rear pin, leaves the front pin. The 4 pin is left. And it's going to be a 9, 71 and 7 for Mr. McLaughlin now. Nate McLaughlin, in his past 5 matches, like I said, he took 40 points, averaging 8 per match. His longest streak of strings over 100 has been 4 this season. His longest streak of matches over 500 has been 2 this season. His longest winning streak of 7 points or greater has been 4 this season so far. There's a 2-drop and a half Worcester for Mr. Nathan McLaughlin. Nathan McLaughlin punches through the center and leaves the 4, the 6, the 2, the 7, and the 10. Nathan McLaughlin's average points per away match is averaging 8.7 right now. When he's at home, he's averaging 9.4 points per home match. And he's just trying to get out of this box, and he'll take a 6. 77 in 8 for Mr. Nathan McLaughlin. In his past 5 matches, he's rolled 10 strikes, 47 spares, and 57 tens. Not bad, not bad. His longest streak of matches over 500 or equal to 500 has been 2 so far this season. And his longest streak of matches with 10 points, a double-digit take-home, has been 3 so far. And he'll drop 5, he'll drop 6, he'll drop 7. Can I hear more? No, I guess I don't. Just a 7 drop, not on the head pin. Not quite a Julian strike. But you take what you can get when you miss the head pin. 1-3-6 for Nate. And beauty, he'll take that spare. That's his 3rd mark of this game. That's 87 and a bonus for Nathan McLaughlin. Let's watch this one again. Great shot. And as a lefty, I'm impressed. I'm impressed for him with that lefty throw, because that was kind of like on the opposite side compared to the previous rundown of 3. And he'll take 3 on his spare there. Rear left Candlepin corner taken down. 90 and 9. And the follow-up on the head pin a little bit too full, leaves the 2, the 6, and the 10. And he'll make it a 7, but that will be enough to take the first game. Nathan McLaughlin with a 97 by my unofficial count. I will verify that in just a moment. Bryan Hebert 86, Nathan McLaughlin 97. Let me just pause for confirmation. It would appear that he was scored as a 96. And I'm not entirely sure.
Check the math on that.
I think it's 97. I will double check in the background. Anyways, we'll watch Bryan Hebert in the meantime. Just give me a moment to just do some paperwork.
I thought it was 97, right?
Bryan Hebert drops 3. And next ball is into the ocean. And Hebert leaves the 1-3 for what appears to be an 8 box. Eight after 1 for Bryan Hebert. Yeah. Okay, it is a 97. There was a math error on the paper copy, because I was going to say I had the same amount of boxes, and I was wondering what was going on. It's a 97 confirmed. Like I said, verifying the scores just to make sure. I was going to say, I was looking at the box, I was like, there's no difference here. It's just a addition error of some kind. And Hebert after a 2 drop. It ends up being 6 down, 4 up. And the follow-up results in an 8 box, 16 after 2 for Bryan Hebert. We're at Harvard Lanes in Harvard, Massachusetts. Just hours before this deadly, crazy apocalypse kill storm, this Class 3 kill storm, as The Simpsons puts it. Bit of a doozy. If you're watching this 6 months from now, you probably think this is hilarious. As Bryan Hebert drops 8 and splits 8. My voice may sound a little muffled today because I'm currently trying to fight a very loud speaker directly above me playing loud music, and I'm trying my hardest not to get the music involved in the match for annoying copyright-related reasons. Bryan Hebert, though, with a spare. Let's not forget that, though. 26 and a bonus after 3 for Bryan Hebert. A big W on this, on the 3-7. Look at that. Beautiful shot by Bryan Hebert. My goodness, that was a great one. Here we go. Bryan Hebert filling a spare. And he's on the pocket. That's a 4-6-7 leave. A big 17 in the third. 33 after 3. Hebert will kick the 6 with wood and leave the 4 and the 7. And Hebert will make that an 8 box. 8-8 spare 7-8. I believe that is 41 after 4. With 1 box to go. Bryan Hebert averages 3.5 points per away match and 7.3 points per home match. He fires off to the right of the head pin, and he's going to mix down, a couple more, maybe. Oh, my goodness, an unexpected 9 drop for Bryan Hebert with a head pin as the spare leave. Hebert, just a little off. And that's a 10 box for Bryan Hebert. That's 51 after 5. Verify the scores in just a moment. And 51 appears to be correct. Yes, that's what I see down there. 51 after 5 for Bryan Hebert. Coming up next will be Nathan McLaughlin. On lane 1, and here he is. McLaughlin, the home bowler for the evening. He'll drop 6. It's the 1, the 2, the 7, and the 8. And McLaughlin, he gets stuffed. Well, not really stuffed, but an unexpected visitor of the 8-pin lingers behind. And Nathan McLaughlin will take a 10 box off of that. 10 after 1 for Nathan McLaughlin. Compare that to 8 after 1 for Bryan Hebert. In case you missed the first game, Bryan Hebert threw an 86 and Nathan McLaughlin threw a 97. It's 5 games. We are in the second game of 5. Nathan McLaughlin, his average of head pins is 15.8 for 50 with 8 splits per match. And there is, wow, there's an interesting mix. Wow, a 9 drop, a delayed 9 drop. Any way you can get them, just like Bryan Hebert's. 2 pieces of diagonal wood beset the 10 pin in front of it. As you can see, it's going to be rough. Knowing Harvard, this is going to be a deceptively weird shot. Expect that 10 pin to possibly stand up and fight. Unless you hit it like that. Prove me wrong. I have no problem with that. That's a spare for Nathan McLaughlin. That's 20 and a bonus after 2. You had to hit that in a very specific way. And how specific? This specific. Right on the cap, yes. And he even doinked the front wood, and I thought that would have been a detriment, but not quite. Here comes Nathan McLaughlin. Oh no, that's going to be a 2-fill on a spare. Easy come, easy go, as they say. That's a 12 in the second for 22 after 2. McLaughlin on the 1-3 pocket. He leaves the 5 and the 6 on the second ball. A good ball. It was right where it should have gone. If the second ball was the first ball, it would have been a great fill. And Nate McLaughlin for the 10 box. He'll leave the 5. He'll pick a stick. That's a 9 box, 31 after 3 for Nate McLaughlin. Nate McLaughlin has 4 pinfall wins this season. In his past 5 away matches, he's taken 26 points, averaging 5.2 per away match. At home at Harvard, he's taken 42 points, averaging 8.4 points taken per match. And he'll take a 5-drop Caleri this time. Bob Caleri of Lexington, Massachusetts, making a stop in Harvard, Massachusetts this evening. Caleris are always fun shots when they go. Nate will miss the object. He'll take 2 and leave 3. It's the 1, the 3, and the 8. And Nate will connect with a head pin and nothing else for an 8 box for 39 after 4. Nate McLaughlin has a wall of superlatives, including the 5th highest Class E average at 95.9, the 2nd highest Class E high single at 135, the number 6 Class E total strikes at 11, the 4th highest Class E high series at 537. And he's on the head pin there. He'll split 7 after everything falls. 2, 4, 10. And McLaughlin on the outside of the object pin, but it dances around the 2, and needless to say, does not take the 10. Nate McLaughlin will poke the 10 and leave the 4. It'll be a 9 box. I believe that's going to be a 48.5 for Nate McLaughlin. Let me pause and verify. And 48 is indeed what I see. 48 to 51 is the half. 1.5 game total of 137 for Bryan Hebert, and 1.5 game total of 145 for Nathan McLaughlin. Bryan Hebert currently leads this string by 3 pins. Coming up next will be Bryan Hebert to bowl the second half of the second game here on the ACST at Harvard, Massachusetts at Harvard Lanes in this Class E North match in this regular season on January 24th, 2026. And here he is, Bryan Hebert. Fun fact, in that B-roll you just saw, that was Bryan Hebert's father throwing a triple strike at Leda Lanes quite a few years ago. I want to say that was like 7 or 8 years ago. It was a heck of a spectacle, and I just happened to be filming with my phone at that point, because I think I remember after we saw like 1 strike and 2 strikes, we were like, we got to film this. And he did not disappoint. Bryan Hebert will take out the left corner and then the right corner, and now he's left with the 1 diamond in the center. This will be for a 10 box for Bryan. That's a 6. 57 after 6 for Bryan Hebert here. Bryan Hebert has the 14th highest Class E average at 89.3, and the 10th highest Class E total strikes at 6. As Bryan Hebert takes a half Worcester on the right side, a 2-drop. Bryan Hebert recently faced Kristen Poirier in round 10. He took 4 points in that match. We filmed that match last Saturday at Boutwell's Bowling Center. It was a great doubleheader. He had a 467 series in that match with an 84, an 82, and 92, a 101, and a 108. Bryan Hebert versus the 8 and the 10 for the third ball for a 10 box. It ends up being a 9. That will be 66 in 7 for Bryan Hebert here. Bryan Hebert has thrown a 4-bagger a long time ago. Unfortunately, it didn't count. He threw it during warm-ups at Leda Lanes in one of our Wednesday night mixed leagues a long time ago. It was funny. He just kept throwing strikes, and we're like, are you kidding me? You're wasting him here? And he threw 4. He did indeed throw 4 in a row, but a 4-bagger in warm-ups, unfortunately, does not count for the jackpot. Bryan Hebert, oh my goodness, a 1-drop spare. Nice conversion. Great, 76 in the bonus after 8 for Bryan Hebert. Watch this, on the 10-pin, no less. All over it on the 1-2 pocket, beautiful. Nice recovery, just needs that second ball to be the first ball. So advice for a lot of bowlers, make your second ball your first ball. You can do it, just pretend you threw a gutter or something. And Hebert will take a 4-fill. 80 and 8. As Hebert pokes the 6 on the second ball. For the 10, just trying to get some pins. It's going to be a 5-box for 85 and 9, I believe. As always, the on-screen scoreboard is unofficial. Just bear that in mind. I follow the bowlers if there are any score discrepancies. Bryan Hebert on the 1-3 pocket. He knocks down 9 and leaves the 7. And that's a good spare leave, a single pin. And Bryan Hebert, that ball sails into the center. No spare. And it will be a 10-box. It'll be a 95, game 2 for Bryan Hebert. .95 is confirmed. Just took me a second to get to the paper copy. Here's Nate McLaughlin. On the 1-3 pocket, he's dropping 9 and leaves the 5. Single pin, 5-pin, high noon ball. And he's got it. Nate McLaughlin wins the duel. 58 in a bonus after 6. That's precision right there. Here's Nate McLaughlin working on a spare. The 1-3 pocket, oh, and a beautiful spare fill of 9. Drops all but the 4. And it has wood this time. Judging on past performance, if past is prologue, this should be another spare. Let's see what happens. It looks good. Oh, I said looks good. Void where prohibited. Warranty not valid in Massachusetts. So Nate McLaughlin, who really should have had that spare, he shows us that he has no problem playing a pin direct when there is no wood involved. That's a 10 box for 77 and 7. Nathan McLaughlin recently faced Nick Charest in round 9. He took 4 points with a 455 series, throwing an 86, an 85, a 100, a 93, and a 101 with, it was a 455 series. That's a 5 drop for Nate McLaughlin. McLaughlin looking to blow up the cluster. He leaves the 1 and the 3. And he'll poke the 3 and leave the 1 for a 9 box. That's 86 and 8 now for Nate McLaughlin. He's gone 4 for 8 on the head pin with 1 split this game so far. Bryan Hebert went 3 for 10 with 2 splits. Bryan Hebert's currently at 181. Nate McLaughlin's at 183 with 2 boxes remaining in this game. McLaughlin fires down 60 feet and leaves the 1-2-10. And it'll connect with the 2 and leave the 1 and the 10. Eight, 9, or 10 for Nate McLaughlin. It's going to be an 8 for a 94 and 9. Nate McLaughlin continuing on his superlatives. He has the 4th highest Class E total spares at 56, the number 1 Class E average spare fill at 5.9, the 3rd highest Class E perfect box percentage at 36%, the number 1 Class E total tens at 79, and the number 2 Class E fewest average pins left at 64, as he buries the head pin and drops 6. Spread eagle minus 2 pins. 2, 3, 6, 10 for Nate McLaughlin. Sails into the void down the center. 2 perfect. And he makes it a nice 9 box for his efforts. Nate McLaughlin takes the second game with a 103 by my count. We'll verify the scores in just a moment. That should be an even 200 for Nathan McLaughlin, 2 games in, averaging 100 even. Bryan Hebert, 181 after 2 games with an 86 and a 95. I know Bryan Hebert's scores are correct. I will confirm the 103 with Nathan McLaughlin in just a hot second here. And I do see 103. Yes, we are in sync. All right, we are good. Moving on to game number 3 here at the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. Harvard, Massachusetts, Class E North. It's Bryan Hebert versus Nate McLaughlin. I'm Steve Kelly reporting live on the scene. Bryan Hebert will lead off on lane 1 once the bowling balls are settled. And they have been settled. Here we go. Let's go. Bryan Hebert will get a nice, a domino mix on the 4-7 pocket, I think. 7 drop, leaving the 1, 2, 3. Oh, and he was right on the 1, 2, 3, but that wood in between the 1 and the 3 defeated the attempts on the 2's life. And it's going to be a 9 box in the first for Bryan Hebert. 9 after 1. Bryan Hebert bowled out of Lakeside Lanes in Manchester, New Hampshire up until this year. Now he bowls out of Boutwell's Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire. And he'll poke 2 out. Half Worcester left side. The 2 and the 8 taken out. Oh, and he's on the 4. 3 down, 7 up. The result of the play is a 7 box for Bryan Hebert. That's 16 after 2. Bryan Hebert on the 1-3 pocket. It's a good mix. He drops 8. It's the 2 and the 5 for a spare fill, or a spare leave, excuse me. 2 and the 5. Oh, and just caps the wood, a little bit off target. For the 10 box on the retry, he'll connect with the 5, leave the 2. That'll be a 9 for Bryan Hebert, 25 after 3. Bryan Hebert currently has a streak of 2 for longest streak of matches over 100. Games over 100, excuse me. He has 1 double-digit victory this season so far, taking home more than 10 points in the match. That's a 3 drop for Bryan Hebert. And Hebert leaves the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 5 for the spare shot. This will be for a 10 box now with a 6 box guarantee. It will be a 6. That's 31 after 4 for Bryan. Bryan works at Microspec Corporation. Has a secondary manufacturing lead. He'll poke the 4, but it will also take the 7. That's a 2 drop. Just narrowly off the head pin pocket, it turns into a Caleri shot. 1, 3, 6, 8, 10. And it will be a 6 box with the 4 horsemen standing. That will be a 37.5 for Bryan Hebert. 97966. And 37 is what I see down there. That is confirmed. 218 halftime total for Bryan Hebert. 86, 95, and 37. 37 is obviously the half game total. Here's Nathan McLaughlin on lane 1. On the 1-3 pocket. Oh, an eventual 9 drop. A pin in the back row falls late. 2 pin is standing for a single pin spare opportunity for Nate McLaughlin. Oh, and he's just a little bit off. Just a little bit. Couple of planks away. Nine or 10 for Nate. It'll be a 9. I mean, what am I saying? It'll be a 10. 10 after 1 for Nate McLaughlin. Compare that to 9 after 1 for Bryan Hebert. Here comes Nathan McLaughlin. On the 1-3 pocket. Will it be a strike? The 7 pin is really wiggling. And it is really standing up. That's a 9 drop. For a spare. You betcha. You got it. Yes, sir. There's a spare for Nathan McLaughlin. You want it, you got it. The double buffered wood I was worried about. I was worried about caps. I was worried about a lot of things with this, but Nathan McLaughlin figured it out. He capped the frontmost wood in the center. 20 and a bonus after 2. Here's Nate. Goes off to the left of the head pin, and he'll take 4 on that spare fill. McLaughlin outside of the head pin. Yeah, nice spare. That was a pretty one. Kind of a domino effect. But it went. That's 34 and a bonus after 3. Why don't we look at this again? Because this was beautiful. He hit the outside of the head pin, and that just caused enough pinball action. It was all done by the pins. The ball hit the head pin and got the heck out. McLaughlin on the head pin. Too much on the head pin. A 5 fill. Spread eagle minus the 10. 5 fill in the third. And that's 39 after 3. The second ball is a bit of a misfire. And he'll make it an 8 box as an out. 47 after 4 for Nate McLaughlin. Taking an early lead of 10 before the 5th frame. At least I think so. Did I miss a box? No, it is still 4. Yep, Bryan just told him. I was like, I don't know what I'm missing or not missing. Nope, he threw 4 frames. I was like, did I black out or something and miss a box? No, he threw 4. And now he knows he has 1 to go. On the 1-3 pocket, hey, yeah, don't throw that away. He drops 9, and there's the 2 pin. Yeah, can you imagine throwing away an easy spare like that? I can't. Nate McLaughlin, now he's all done. With that spare, he's at 57 after 5 and a bonus, a 3-mark 57.5. That's a halftime total of 257 for Nathan McLaughlin. And 218 for Bryan Hebert all the while. That is confirmed from what I can see down there. All right. Now it is back to Bryan Hebert. Hebert to the right of the head pin. He'll mix down 7. One, 2, 4 for Bryan. And he's on the 2 and the 4, but not the 1. Nine or 10 for Bryan Hebert. It's a 10. After 6, he's at 47. If you're just tuning in, this is the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour, a season-long series of one-on-one candlepin bowling matches between challengers organized into classes and divisions competing for playoff contention. This is Class E North you're watching. 4 drops, 6-pack left for Bryan Hebert. And he'll take the 7 pin out. Ends up being, ooh, wow, a weird 7 box for Bryan Hebert. That's 54 after 7. This edition of the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour is brought to you by 3-Ball Spare Conglomerate. Check out 3-Ball Spare on Facebook, YouTube, Kick, Reddit, and Twitch.tv for more matches, streams, tournaments, and highlights. Oh, and a 1-3 pocket hit for Bryan Hebert. He drops 9 and leaves the 2 pin just like Nathan McLaughlin did in the 5th frame not too long ago. Hebert on it, all over it for a spare. 64 and a bonus. Beautiful shot. Great execution. No wood, just a straight hit on the pin. 64 and a bonus. Bryan Hebert on a spare. Sweeps left, but only fills 4. On the head pin, come on, take the 4. The friction of the plates stopped the wood from colliding into the 4. In some houses that works, not at Harvard Lanes though. For a 9 or 10. He'll clean it up for a 10. That's 78 in 9 for Bryan Hebert. Here comes Bryan Hebert on lane 2. Oh, and down the center, too much down the center. An awkward 4 drop, not really a spread eagle. Something kind of worse, honestly. It's a tough split. Doesn't really have a name, but you know. Bryan Hebert will take 2 off and leave the 8, the 3, the 6, and the 10. And Hebert will make that a 7. That's going to be an 85. Third game for Bryan Hebert now. 3-game total of 266. I will verify that total in just a moment. 85, yes, that is confirmed for Bryan Hebert. 86, 95, and 85 is your score recap for Bryan Hebert 3 games in. Nate McLaughlin sitting at a 57.5 plus a fill. Bryan Hebert at 266 for 3 games. Nate McLaughlin 2.5 games, 257 plus a fill. Nate on an open mark. Oh, and what a way to fill an open mark. There's a strike for Nate McLaughlin. That's a strike on spare. 77 in a bonus for Nate McLaughlin. Watch this shot again. Wonderfully done. 1-3 pocket. Narrows narrowly on it, almost too full. 7 falls on the 4 falls. Nate McLaughlin has been perfect on the head pin aside from box number 3. I'll have you know. And he'll get a spin on the corner hit. It's a 4 drop so far, but he gets another ball for the strike fill. Nate McLaughlin on the spare fill. It's going to be a nice 7. A big 17 from a big 20. 84 after 6 for Nate McLaughlin. He leaves the 1, the 5, and the 3 for a 10 box. These cascading fills, they can be big in matches. That'll be a 7. Nate McLaughlin's at 91 after 7. McLaughlin drops 3. 6-pack right in the 7. Oh, and the second ball sails into the void, similar to where the first ball went. For the follow-up, It'll be a 6 box. That's 97 and 8 for Mr. Nathan. 2 boxes to go. We're at the end of game 3 of 5 here in this ACST match. This late Saturday night in Harvard, Massachusetts at Harvard Lanes. McLaughlin. Head pin, again a little too perfect. It's a spread eagle minus the 7, a 5 drop. Sails into the center. His second ball, he's pretty good at putting the second ball exactly where the first ball went, but that doesn't always work. Nate McLaughlin will clean up for a 6 box. His second 6 box in a row. That's 103 and 9 for Nate. And Nate McLaughlin will wash out 4 on the right side. 1, 2, 4, 7, 8, and 10. Nate will leave the 1, the 2, and the 10 on the spare shot. For the 10 box, it becomes a 9. That will be, by my count, a 112 game 3 for Nate McLaughlin. I will verify that score in just a moment. .112 is confirmed. Nate McLaughlin with a big win, 112 over Bryan Hebert's 85. A win by 27 in the string, up by 46 in the total. Currently, Nate McLaughlin has 6 points. Bryan Hebert still working on finding some. We're going to move on to game 4 as the bowling balls are transferred between the ball returns here on the ACST. Bryan Hebert up next on lane 1. And it's away on the 1-2 pocket. It'll be a mix of 7, a split of the 3, the 5, and the 10. He'll get in on the 5 pin and leave the 3 and the 10. And it's an 8 box for Bryan Hebert. That's 8 after 1. Here in the 4th. If you live in the area or are willing to make the pilgrimage, the Candlepin bowling community would absolutely appreciate your interest and visitation. Do check out candlepin.org and click Go Bowling to find your nearest center if you want to give this unique regional sport a try. There's a 2 drop for Bryan Hebert. Took out the 6 and then the 9. On the head pin, little full, leaves the 3 and the 10. And it will be an 8 for 16 after 2. And Bryan will take 6 out here and split 6, 2 on each side. 3, 6, 4, 7. Second ball into the void. Third ball into the void, unfortunately, just barely off of the object pin by just a couple of inches, or millimeters, or centimeters even. That's 22 after 3 for Bryan Hebert with 2 boxes to go. We are at Harvard Lanes in Harvard, Massachusetts. Historic alley, 75 plus years of operation. Offers bowling, food, drinks, and leagues, and event hosting in a recently renovated building that looks really great. 7 drop for Bryan Hebert here. Harvard Lanes has been around since 1950 on 204 Ayer Road in Harvard, Massachusetts. I know that sounds confusing. Ayer Road, Harvard, Massachusetts, Harvard Lanes, but that's where it is. Bryan Hebert for a 10 box. He'll make it a 9, 31 and 4. There's lots of retro pinball machines in Harvard Lanes. A great selection of them, and it looks really great. Kind of like a little historic arcade kind of section in here. Jim Shook is the current owner. Had a soft opening in June of 2024 and opened formally in October of 2024. Hosted the ACBT finals in summer 2024. There's a 6 drop for Bryan Hebert. 1368. And Bryan Hebert on the 1368. A little full in the center leaves the 6 and the 8. Ends up becoming an 8 for Bryan Hebert. That's 39 after 5. 88698 for 39. And the 39 is confirmed. Nate McLaughlin now up next at bat on lane 1 in Harvard, Massachusetts at Harvard Lanes to start out game 4. Bryan Hebert, the away bowler. Nathan McLaughlin, the home bowler. Nate McLaughlin fires. To the right of the head pin is the 1, 2, 4, and 10. Here's Nate on the 2 and the 4. And the 1 and the 10 are left for the 10 box attempt. Nice 10 conversion for Nate McLaughlin. That's 10 after 1. Nate McLaughlin washes out 3 on the right side. That's a 6-pack left in the 10. Nate McLaughlin has 2 shutout victories of 14 points this season. Season average 95.9. And Nate McLaughlin will leave the 1 and the 2 on the deck on the spare attempt, missing the object pin. Nate will leave the 4, and that will be a 9 for 19 after 2. And a thin hit on the head pin. It's the 4-6-3-10 for Nate. No wood to help him either. I remember on lanes 2, 3, and 4, I believe. No, it was 1, 2, and 3. Oh my goodness, almost a spare. That 4 pin gets grazed. Nate McLaughlin made a great attempt on it. I remember when I bowled here last, I had similar struggles actually on these 3 lanes. It was 1, then 2, then 3. It's a tough house. You got to really, really make your shots to make things count. Speaking of making a count, that's a 10 box for Nate McLaughlin. 10, 9, and 10, that's 29 after 3. Nate McLaughlin doesn't hit the head pin, but almost takes it. He leaves the isosceles triangle, the 1, the 8, and the 9. One, 8, and 9 leave for Nate. Plays the wood in front of the head pin, but it sails around it. Collides with the 9. Ends up being a 9. 38 after 4 for Nate McLaughlin, with 1 to go. As he remembers this time, he has 1 box to go before he sits. Nate will drop 4 there, leaving the 4 horsemen right side, the 7 and the 8. McLaughlin's on the head pin, but doesn't get much to show for it. He still has the 7, 8, 10, and 6 to shoot for a 10 box. Ends up being an 8, leaving the 7 and the 10. That's a 46 half for Nate McLaughlin. Both bowlers having some trouble this half. Bryan Hebert 39 after 5, Nate McLaughlin 46 after 5. These scores are confirmed. 305, 3.5 game total for Bryan Hebert. 358, 3.5 game total for Nate McLaughlin. McLaughlin currently has all the points, is up by 53 in the total, and up by 7 in the string. Coming up next will be Bryan Hebert on lane 2. And here he is, Mr. Bryan Hebert. Off to the right, drops 3 to start out his second half journey. On the 1-3 pocket, oh my goodness. 1-3 pocket and only the 1-3. 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. And it will be a 5 for Bryan for 44 after 6. Bryan Hebert is 3 for 6 on the head pin with 2 splits this game. Overall, he is 13 for 36 on the head pin with 6 splits. Ball sails into the right channel. Second ball is a course correction. Drops 4 here. 4, 6, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. For a 10 box. Ends up being a 6. That's 50 and 7 for Bryan. On November 27, 2024, Bryan Hebert threw 3 spares in a row, all 3 spares at a 1 fill at Lakeside Lanes. It was a really incredible sight because it was like he couldn't stop sparing, but he also couldn't stop throwing the 1 fill. It was like either a lemon drop or like a quarter Worcester, and it was just like unfortunate. But he kept fighting through the adversity. Half Worcester there. Oh my goodness, this next ball is on the head pin, and it just kind of thinly shoots the pin straight back, and he's got the 3, 4, 6, 7, 10 to shoot at now for a 10 box. It's a 5 box or greater. Ends up being a 7. 57 and 8 for Bryan Hebert. Here comes Bryan Hebert on the 10 pin in the first ball. And Hebert on the pocket. He's left with 2 pins left on the deck. Looks like the 3 and the 10, I believe. Or actually, it might be the 6. Excuse me, no, the 3 and the 7 or the 6 and the 7. It is the 6 and the 7. It'll be an 8 box. That's the short of it. 65 and 9 for Bryan. Just these rough leaves. That's just both bowlers are just having extreme difficulty this game. And Bryan Hebert will mix 7, 1, 2, 4. Should be a decent spare leave opportunity coming up. Hebert will connect with the 4 and leave the 1 and the 2. And to conclude his 4th game, it ends up being an 8. The result of the game is a 73. In the 4th game for Bryan Hebert, that's a 4-game total of 339, 86, 95, 85, and 73 for Bryan. And then the 73 is confirmed. Coming up next to close out the game 4 or 5 will be Nate McLaughlin. Once again. And welcome back. It's Nate McLaughlin on lane 2. And here he comes to the right, and oh yeah. You see the misfortune is kind of evenly distributing right now. That's a quarter Worcester for Nate McLaughlin, only on the 3-pin, and that's it. And on the quarter Worcester on the pocket, oh, and he just punches full. He's left with a 4, 6, 7, 10. Hard times in Harvard. Take a couple letters off and you'll rename it to Hard Lanes. And that's kind of a an accurate description of what's going on right now. And that will be an 8 box, a hard fought one for Nate McLaughlin. That's 54 and 6. Compare that to Bryan Hebert's 44 after 6. McLaughlin just slightly off to the left of the head pin. He's got a 5-drop Caliri. That's C-A-L-I-R-I. Bob Caliri of Lexington, Massachusetts, a contestant of Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Nate McLaughlin versus the Caliri leaves the head pin, leaves the object pin. McLaughlin on the head pin for a 10. He's got the 10. That's 64 and 7. Up by 14 in this game by the 7th frame. Nate's off to the left. 3 drop. And on the head pin for the spare, he leaves the 3, 6, and the 10. Are you kidding me? That's wild. It was a great spare bid. It was just not much he could have done about it. And Nate McLaughlin will nudge the 3-pin down, and that will be a hard-fought 8. 72 in 8 for Nate McLaughlin. I hesitate to call this game a pillow fight, but so far, based on the lack of marks, I don't know what else to call it at this point. 72 and 8 for Nate McLaughlin and 57 and 8 for Bryan Hebert. And Nate will mix down 7. It's the 1, the 8, and the 10. And he'll connect with the 10 and leave the 1 and the 8. And that's a 9 for Nate McLaughlin. Going into the 10th, he's at 81. Bryan Hebert was at 65 and 9. I don't really honestly remember the last time I think I've called a match where, at least in one game, both bowlers have gone markless. I don't know. I have nothing in recent memory of this happening, so we'll see if Nate McLaughlin can break the curse here. That ball may not help. He's on the 4 and the 7. 2 drop. No one has thrown a 9 drop this game. And he's on the head pin on the pocket. You have got to be kidding me. That is crazy, this action. 3, 8, 9, 10 is the leave. It won't be a mark. It'll be a markless game 4 for both bowlers. Just hard times down there at Harvard Lanes. That's a 7 for Nate McLaughlin for an 88 game 4, and both bowlers, I mean, they were trying their hardest for spares. Definitely had some shots that really should have gone, but that's an 88 game 4 for Nate McLaughlin and a 73 game 4 for Bryan Hebert. 339 for Bryan Hebert in the 4th and 400 in the 4th for Nate McLaughlin. Let me just double check the 88 for Nate McLaughlin. 88 is confirmed from what I can see back here. All right, so the scores are confirmed going into the 5th. When we come back and after the bowling balls are switched on the ball returns, it'll be the 5th and final game here at Harvard Lanes. Class E North, Bryan Hebert and Nate McLaughlin. I hope to see you there. I'm Steve Kelly reporting live on the scene on Blizzard Eve in Harvard, Massachusetts. Here's Bryan Hebert. He'll mix down 5, 1, 7, 10, 2, 6. Bryan Hebert will take 2 and leave 3. And for the 10 box, he'll leave the head pin for a 9. 9 after 1 for Bryan Hebert. Bryan's on the 1-2 pocket, and he'll drop 6. That's the 3 diamond. Second ball's a little bit off. Sails to the left of the diamond. Was going for the 3-6 or the 3-5 pocket. Crossed over a little bit too much. On the retry, it's also another miss. That will be a 6 box in the second for Bryan Hebert for 15 after 2. 9 and then a 6. Bryan Hebert's averaging 4.82 in the first ball so far. Nate McLaughlin averaging 5.53 in the first ball. Both bowlers with even splits, 6 apiece, and they're both about the same on the head pin. Bryan Hebert 33%, Nate McLaughlin 35%. 1-2-4-7 lead for Bryan Hebert. 4 horsemen left side. Hebert wanted to catch the head pin on the outside, but was just a little bit off to the right. Leaves the 1, 2, and 4. And it will be a 7. That's 22 after 3 for Bryan. Normally averages 89.3 for the season so far. On the road, 14.42. Home at Boutwell's, 22 and 20. Away average 90.1. And this is a washout of 4. 1, 7, 10, 3, 6, 9. Oh, and on the pocket, okay. He leaves the 7 and the 10. Looked good for a split second, but the pins just mixed oddly. 7-10 leave for a 10 box. 8 box guarantee for Bryan Hebert. Plays the wood, wants to sweep, only sweeps the 7, leaves the 10. That's a 9 box, 31 and 4. It's another washout. Another washout on the right side this time, and it's a 3 drop without an extra pin going down. On the outside of the object pin, a great ball. And a lot of this wood is just like, normally if it had more speed and friction, it would take out additional pins, but it's leaving these extra pins on the deck, leaving the 4 and the 10 in this shot. And that will be a 9 for Bryan Hebert. That's 40 after 5. A hard-fought 40 after 5. 9, 6, 7, 9, 9. 1 for 5 on the head pin, no splits. 40 is confirmed as I look at the paper copy. 379, 4.5 game total for Bryan Hebert. Nate McLaughlin with a 4 game total of 400. Now approaches lane 1. Nate off to the right. 1, 2, 7 will be the opening shot. Oh, and a nice spare by Nate McLaughlin. He's breaking the curse of no marks for a whole game. In fact, let's look at this again, shall we, on the 1, 2, 7. Great shot by Nate. Bryan Hebert's had 3 spares, 6 10s. Nate McLaughlin, 1 strike, 9 spares, 7 10s. Nate McLaughlin will mix down 3 on his fill, 4 on his fill. It's a 4. McLaughlin on the pocket. Can he take them all down? Yes, he sure can. That's a double spare for Nate McLaughlin. Whatever adjustment he made, it seems to be working for him. Let's watch the shot again. 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 10 was the shot. Just play the center pocket because there was wood behind it. That took everything out. 24 and a bonus after 2. McLaughlin's a little bit off to the left of the head pin, and he takes 4, and he's frustrated by that one. It's a right side 6-pack. And we ID at Harvard Lanes in Harvard, Mass. Do check out the bar. Great pizza, great drinks here at Harvard, Massachusetts. Oh, and he almost conquers the 6-pack, leaves the 5. I've been tempted by the smell of mozzarella sticks the whole time I've been here. You can't smell it at home, but I can certainly smell it here, and it smells dang good at Harvard Lanes. There's a 10 for Nate McLaughlin. 38 after 3. 2 boxes to go. I was talking with Nate McLaughlin before the start of the match, and I was talking to him how, you know, it's so cold and just weird things happen to your body when you're cold. And I was talking about, I was like, what's going on with like, I was like sitting, you know, kind of like in a colder spot in my house and like, I felt like kind of like my toes going numb. And I was like, am I dying? And he goes, were you wearing socks? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, I know that feeling. He goes, that's like if your feet sweat a lot and you're wearing socks and it's cold, that can contribute to the numbness, weirdly enough. You think it wouldn't, but it does. So, pro tip for all of you out there in this frigid cold today, if you're wearing socks even inside and it's cold and your feet perspire, take your socks off. That might actually help with the coldness and the issues from the coldness. These random facts have been brought to you by 3-Ball Spare and myself and Nathan McLaughlin. And Nate McLaughlin will take a 7 here. 7 in the fourth for 45. Nate McLaughlin with a season record of 92-48, a great positive record after 10 matches as we're coming into nearly the home stretch for the playoffs. He's currently number 1 in the wild card and his division, so he does have a playoff spot as of right now. After this match, he'll have bowled 11 matches and he'll have 7 to go. And currently he's on a 10-point sweep. He'll take the 8, leaving the 1, the 3, the 9, and the 10. Here comes Nathan McLaughlin. Oh, a nice 10 box. Nice cleanup there. A hard-fought 55 half for Nate McLaughlin, powered by 2 spares in the beginning and 2 10 boxes. Almost perfect except for the 4th frame. 55 is his tally, and that is confirmed. 55-40, McLaughlin, Hebert, respectively. 379 for Hebert, 4.5 games in. Nate McLaughlin, 4.5 games in at 455. As we go into the final 5 boxes, it'll be Hebert's final 5 boxes first. That'll bowl on lane 2 at Harvard Lanes on the ACST. Steve Kelly live on the call. Here's Hebert. 1-2 pocket, great ball. 8 drop, 3-6 pocket. It's away. He's on the 6, leaves the 3. And he'll clean up for a 10. That's 50 after 6 for Bryan Hebert. Hebert's on the pocket again, finding that head pin. It's the 4, 6, and 7 this time. Oh, and he tries to whack the double buffered wood in front of the 4 and the 7 to kick over to the 6, but it kicks behind. Great attempt. I don't think I would have really played it much different. But that's a 9 box for Bryan Hebert for 59 after 7. Hebert misses the head pin for the first time this half. That's a 6 drop, 1, 3, 6, 9. And he'll take 2, leave 2. The 1 and the 3 are standing. And it ends up being a 10 box for Bryan Hebert in the 8th for 69. Hebert mixes down 6 as the 1, 2, 4, 7. 4 horsemen left side. Takes out the 10, leaves the 1, 2, 4. $7 guarantee. And it will be a 10 for Bryan Hebert. That's 78 in 9. 3 for 9 on the head pin with 1 split. Overall, 16 for 49 on the head pin with 7 splits. Washes out 3, maybe a 4th. 5 pin holding on. He'll be a 3 drop. Two more get taken out. It's the 1, 7, 10, 3, and 5. It's going to be a 5 for Hebert. And that will be the evening for him. A 422, 5-game total, an 86, and 95, an 85, a 73, and an 83. 422 for Bryan Hebert. And yes. Just double checking that. That is confirmed, an 83. Here's Nate McLaughlin. For the final 5 boxes of the evening, he'll take 5 out. It's the 1, the 7, the 10, the 2, and the 9. He's on the head pin, and he'll leave the 9 and the 10. Gets a little bit stuffed. And why not? Why not play the wood for that? You'll usually get 1 stick out of 2, but it'll just take 1. That'll be 64 after 6 with that 9 box for Nate McLaughlin. A 7 drop, 4, 6, 10 on the first ball for Nate McLaughlin, a split. Now this sleeve, you could try to play the wood on the left and get a sideball bounce on the cap, or you can try your luck on the right wood. And Nate McLaughlin apparently chooses neither. Now in the third ball, the strategy is different. I would go for the 6 and the 10. I wouldn't try anything too fancy, just get out with pins. He goes for the 10 instead, just narrowly missing the wood. It'll be an 8 box. 72 and 7 for Nate McLaughlin. Three boxes to go before we conclude this match. I hope you enjoyed this match at Harvard Lanes in Harvard, Massachusetts. Class E North, plenty of more matches to be found on the Atlantic Candlepin Single Store page on Facebook and YouTube. Do check it out when you're able. 3, 9, 10 leave for Nate McLaughlin, a split of 7. And for the spare, Nate McLaughlin, he got it. It was looking scary there for a minute, but he figured it out. 82 and 8 for Nathan McLaughlin with that spare. Why don't we take a look at this again? 3, 9, 10 leave. It was no problem for Nate. And he's not on the head pin. He'll take a weird 5 fill. What even is that? That's the 1, the 3, the 4, the 9, and the 10. Which is kind of wood sprayed all around it. But it doesn't matter. He figures all that out, and that's a spare for Nate McLaughlin in the 9th. 97 in a bonus now after 9. In fact, let's watch this again. On the outside of the head pin was where he hit, and that was exactly what was needed. And he pounds the pocket. Splash is 6, 4, 6, 7, 10. Big 16 in the 9th. 103 and 9. Nate McLaughlin has secured 14 points. Rough night for both bowlers, honestly, though. Oh, and he almost tries to get a pretty banana split spare, but only takes the left half and leaves the right half. 8, 9, or 10 for Nate McLaughlin. He'll close out with a 10. Why not? And that's a 113 game 5 for Nate McLaughlin for a 5-13 series. 97, 103, 112, 88, and 113 for Nate McLaughlin. Bryan Hebert, 86, 95, 85, 73, and 83 for a 422 5-game series. Both bowlers having mighty struggles here at Harvard this evening, but fighting through it is that's the whole spirit of the match and the spirit of competition. So your final totals this evening. Unfortunately, Bryan Hebert was not able to find any points. He'll move to 36 and 76, while Nate McLaughlin, with all 14 points for the evening, moves to 106 and 48, further solidifying his lead in Class E North. With 1 strike, 12 spares, and 10 tens this evening. Bryan Hebert, no strikes, 3 spares, and 8 tens. Both bowlers having trouble finding the head pin. Bryan Hebert, 16 for 50. Nate McLaughlin, 17 for 50. 7 splits for Bryan Hebert and 9 for Nate McLaughlin. 4.8 first ball average for Bryan Hebert, 5.46 for Nate McLaughlin. If they were bowling head-to-head, Nate McLaughlin would have won more boxes, 31 to Bryan Hebert's 15, with the rest being ties. And with the fills in particular, Nate McLaughlin really pulling out ahead with the fills, totaling 72, averaging 5.54 per mark. Bryan Hebert totaling 15, averaging 5 per mark. And here's some graphs if you want to get into the nitty-gritty and the more detailed analysis. Feel free to pause the video if you want to look at this further. Anyways, that should just about do it for us here at Harvard Lanes in Harvard, Massachusetts. I want to thank you for watching. I am 3Ball Spare on Facebook, YouTube, Kick, Twitch, and Reddit if you want to see more of my content. And also be sure to check out the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour page on YouTube as well as Facebook for more great matches. All right, folks, so I've been Steve Kelly for Nate McLaughlin and Bryan Hebert. We'll be signing off for the evening. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend and hope the snowstorm goes well for all of us if you're in the path. Anyways, we'll see you at the next Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. Have a great one, everyone.